Welcome to the Soca Chronicles. Soca Chronicles with Sharns and RKO.
Welcome back. We are here in the studio, well, in the virtual studio, with none other than DJ Jel. Thanks for joining us. So, Jel, I know you as a very active advocate for Soca, obviously.
Yes.
Well, I'm part of a group called We Bleed Soca. You're in there as well, actively. And I'm enjoying that, I'm enjoying to see, what's being talked about and there's an actual group that is fighting for Soca, so to say. So, Joe, do you have, would you just introduce yourself in a general way so that everybody gets to know you?
Sure. Large up everyone is locked in right now to the podcast. Yours truly, DJ Jel, the Soca boss, international Soca DJ. As you said, Soca advocate, someone who is young but is also actively fighting for Soca music and representation, not just in the Caribbean or in the States, but all over the world.
Yes.
I
love that. I love it so much. I think that's why we asked you to join this discussion, because
oh gosh, yes,
we
yes.
want to
you
talk
are like
about,
the perfect person.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Like, we want to talk about
Literally.
how is it that Soca is not part of the mainstream genre, so to say.
Oh boy, I don't know if we have enough time on this podcast to get into that, but we could definitely touch on some key things.
Yeah, I mean,
Definitely.
we look at dancehall. Dancehall is there, basically. It's getting there anyway. Yeah. We look at there's big artists anyway. If I look, and I always like to pull this like how you say that, comparison in a way, that you have Afrobeats. Afrobeats is blowing up at the moment, like yeah. But in a sense, yes, it's different, obviously, than Soca, but in a sense, like, music-wise, there's similarities as well. So I'm confused, Why is one being shied, like, oh, no, and the other one is like, yeah, come. I'm confused.
Well, I mean, first of all, thanks for having me on the show, but I guess to start off, right, a lot of it comes down to support. You mentioned that Soca and Afrobeats are sort of similar. I mean, Soca is in its roots African, but it also has a lot of Indian fusion as well because of Trinidad and Tobago and colonialism and slavery. And I mean, you could get into the history of that. But in its essence, Soca music was created by Ras Shorty I, who ultimately wanted like Trinidadians, African Trinidadians and Indo-Trinidadians or people of Indian descent to stop fighting. He wanted a music that united not just those two groups, but the entire country. So fast forward years later now, we have Soca music, carnival, love, unity, all these great things that we in this room all love.
Yep.
But unfortunately, in the Caribbean, more times than not, it's not really supported outside of carnival time. And that then lies the first problem as to why it's not mainstream.
That's a very good point, actually. And actually, we touched on that last month as well, didn't we, Sharns? About
we did.
Barbados?
My experience, in Barbados. Terrible.
Oh, yes.
Confusing.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, what got me into Soca as well is just like you said, it's the message of love, unity. It is something that is so missing in the day-to-day life at the moment, in my eyes.
Yeah.
So this music, this culture is filling that gap, so to say. So again, I find it very difficult sometimes to see that people don't understand is a big word, but like don't want to give it a chance at least.
Yeah, or appreciate it. That it hurts my soul, when I go to a fete or I go to a party and people are like, oh, I hate soca music. And I'm like, what do you mean you hate soca music? How can you hate it? Like, it hurts my soul.
Exactly.
Like, I don't get it. And especially like Caribbean people telling me they don't like soca. Honestly, I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
I think, and I mean, I've heard it all. And I mean, I see it a lot online. I've seen it in person. A lot of it comes from a lack of understanding.
Yeah.
People think that, and I've heard this a lot too, it's called pots and pan music. It's like, basically, for some people, it's cognitive dissonance, right? In other words, something that they don't enjoy hearing. Some people don't like to be happy. Like some people like negative music. maybe they don't want to be happy all the time. I've heard all the excuses in the world, or some of the let me not say excuses, some of the feedback that,
The arguments against.
that's against soca music. Yeah. But I mean, it is what it is too. For far too long, and I'm glad that you brought up Barbados. Dancehall and reggae has kind of infiltrated the Caribbean.
Yes.
And is more supported, especially if we look at things like social class, for example, right?
Yep.
Not all the time you're going to be happy in the Caribbean. For a lot of people growing up, you might belong to a particular social class where the music, dancehall music might resonate more because you live in a poor area. You might be exposed to violence. You might know what the struggle is. Whereas I think in terms of the lyrical content in soca, that sometimes doesn't exist. It's getting there, but it's not there yet. That's
a good point,
it's true.
Because reggae and dancehall both are magnitudes bigger at the moment than soca. Didn't iTunes classify soca as reggae or something like that?
I think it doesn't have its own genre.
It doesn't have its own category in certain countries. So here's what happened. I don't know if you all are familiar with Freezy of St. Lucia.
Yes.
He did a song called Split in the Middle and back it up recently. So he was able to get his songs classified as soca, but it's a subcategory under the world, and it's only limited to iTunes and Apple Music. Like Spotify, I don't think it's available. Tidal, no. I think
so you need to have a split in the middle, something that is probably one of the most. This is a song that's one of the most popular soca songs of this time, I think. Because that's the one song, just like a few other like Follow the Leaders, the Hellos, maybe if you're lucky, that are out there. So it takes that level of let's say streams before Spotify puts in the effort to, or iTunes in this matter, puts in the effort to make a separate category.
Yeah. So, but also, do you know what I think? So, like with tunes like Follow the Leader, Hot, 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 those sort of tunes that literally have gone global. Like you'll find them even like corporate English people parties or whatever. You'll get those songs played there. So those songs have made it. But then when you come to a soca fete now, it's like us as soca ravers, we don't want to hear those songs. So it's like what do we do? And it's like, I think that also holds us back as well. I think as a genre. So like, what can we do to sort of get the music out there more? Like I've been thinking about it. I mean, Kerwin made a song with Shensia. Obviously Shensia is like a big artist. So I don't know, do we need to make songs with big artists from different genres? Like what do we need to do?
I think it's a mixture of a few things actually. So I'm glad that you brought up the Kerwin and Shensia collaboration. I mean, that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
Marsha Montano, Cass, Bungie, they've all done collaborations with dancehall and reggae artists before. Yeah. And I mean, in many cases, sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. I think a lot of it too has to deal with the support, right? I keep going back to the support because it's really important. One, we don't have a streaming audience for soca as much. So people, they like to, especially in the Caribbean, they like to rip off of CDs and USB sticks, and as opposed to the streaming culture that we see in dancehall and Afrobeats, right?
Okay.
If you look now on any of the Caribbean's top 100 on Apple Music, I bet £100 that that the top 100 is mainly dancehall, hip hop, or Afrobeats.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Jamaica, Barbados, Grenada, although Grenada has a little bit more soca than most, all the other islands, like it's basically outside music. Yeah. And I think that we don't in the Caribbean support our own.
This is true. This is true. And this is the conversation I've had with some of my artist friends in Barbados. They feel that they have to leave the island to get success because there's not enough support there. Yeah. And I just find that so sad. Like it's really sad. So something needs to be done.
And I think African nations have struggled with this too. Like I know before Afrobeats blew up, like they were having the same problem.
Absolutely.
But there was a movement in Nigeria and Ghana and other places to actually get the music heard and seen. And a lot of that came through collaborations within the African continent.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so difficult though. Yeah, it to me it feels like so I'm from the Netherlands. In the Netherlands we have Dutch music, you know, like let's say music that is just known in the Netherlands. And there's the following for that, but I'm just imagining people who make Dutch music having to venture outside of the Netherlands in order to, you know, get the recognition they want to get.
Yeah.
Or it's just it's crazy to me. Like as a Caribbean nation, you have something beautiful. You have culture. You have a rich culture as well.
Yeah.
Music that's part of that, and people have to go to the States or wherever to make it work for them. That's just sad.
Yeah, I mean,
support. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's how it's set up. The sad thing is, and what I've tried to advocate for a lot of people in the Caribbean is that there's a lot of power in soca music outside. Like they see the fact that as reach places like Australia, Japan, the UK, the States, the Netherlands as well, because I think there's a few songs streaming on the reggae charts that are actually soca. Large up to the soca source for that information. But yeah, I don't know if they see the significance of it. And it's until people travel outside of the Caribbean that they see the power. Because most times they're kind of in the bubble. Yeah. But another double-edged sword to this is Carnival, right?
Yep.
A lot of times people look for Carnival for an excuse to listen to soca. And outside of that, outside of Carnival, it's non-existent. Outside of crop over, for example, for Barbados, non-existent.
It's true. And I listen to soca like every day without fail. Like I'll be in the shower, soca music's playing.
Yep.
I'm in the shower just winding up. Then I'm like, oh damn, I'm late for work. Like every day, literally. So now I had to start giving myself an hour and a half to get ready in the morning to account for my little wind up session. Then I have to do my little twerk practice in the mirror, you know. Literally, I'm literally a soca junkie. So for me, when like especially like my cousins in Barbados, they're like, oh, and they always call it calypso, always. Like, oh, I don't listen to calypso, only when it's carnival time or crop over, da 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 da. And as I said before, like it hurts my chest. So I don't know, man. Something needs to be done. But I like what you're doing though. So I think your title, Soca Boss, is perfect for you. And as RKO said earlier, like we're glad that you came on the podcast because you're definitely the perfect person to have this discussion with. So I think I need to start trying to do a bit more as well to try and push the soca genre as well. But I mean, I feel like I just need more ideas on how to do it.
Well,
things like that.
And I mean, for starters too, I definitely think just continue to cultivate new audiences as well, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
I want to bring up the argument of Latin music as well.
Okay.
A drop of us may not speak a second language, but we love Latin and reggaeton and salsa and all of that. We can't speak the language, but when it comes on.
Because the same thing with soca, I'll be on reggaeton, I'll be in the shower trying to sing whatever they're singing or something. You're right.
Yeah.
It's music is a strong, you know, message bringer, if that's the word. But I don't understand why reggaeton can do it. Maybe it's the power in reggaeton. But why can reggaeton do it and soca cannot? I don't understand.
It's again. I feel like we need long, but it's
we have time.
it's a mix of things. It's definitely the audience building, the marketing and the distribution of the music too. Like there are cases where, as much as the new soca is available to stream, there's a lot of old soca music that we all may know, but we can't listen to it on Tidal or Apple Music or buy it.
It's very true.
Whereas in dancehall and reggae, you can. Whereas in reggaeton, you can. And in addition to that, I mean, ultimately, it really comes down to the support as well as
definitely,
you know, the business sense. Sorry, that's where I wanted to go. The business sense. I still think that that's a key part that's missing. We do the same thing over and over every year.
Yeah.
We got so used to it being carnival focused, and a lot of artists, like, they don't even have albums, right? We could have some of our favorite artists. Like, we love listening to maybe one or two singles from them, but do they have a streamable album or an EP that we can go out and support?
So could you argue that because that's the one thing I like about, one of the things I like about Soca is that there's so much flow of new music. There's so much, like every week or two, there's gonna be new songs basically. But is that also diluting the chance of some song becoming bigger than what it is now? Because if you keep being bombarded with new music, you're gonna forget the music of last week faster than you would otherwise.
Sometimes I do think in some cases quality stands up because we spoke about Freezy earlier with Split in the Middle. So Split in the Middle came out in 2015. That song actually took 2 years to blow up before it became big in 2017 and 18.
Yeah.
So I think
that's true.
Volume isn't the problem, but it's how it's being strategically released.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you did speak about the volume, right, of it coming out, but you also have to pay attention to when it comes out, because a lot of the times it comes out for a particular carnival.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's certain peaks in release. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, in the run up to Trinidad, like
but
literally so many songs come out.
And the other islands too, like even for Barbados, crop over is usually in the first weekend in August, right?
Yeah.
So May, June, July, you definitely get those rush of crop over releases. And I mean, the same for the other islands who have carnival around that time too.
That's true.
Yeah, it's true. But I feel like it's slowed down since COVID though.
Definitely. No doubt.
And it's just
and
like...
I do have to give a shout out to the artists that keep releasing their music even if there's no carnival, because they're stepping out of the comfort zone, I feel. And I'm happy with it.
Yeah, me too.
Likewise.
Me too, because you know me, like, also the whole, like, your mixes, Jel, they're my go-to mixes to learn new music. Like, literally, your mixes are educational for me. So it's like if there's not a lot of new music coming out, it's like I feel lost. Literally.
What I do like is, I mean, there is plenty of music and that can all be found, but as soon as I hear it put together in a mix, I'm like, okay, so this is the actual potency of a song, if you know what I mean. Because like a rhythm on its own, you're like, this is nice, and then, you know, you move on. But in a mix, it tells a story in a way. That's how I feel about it anyway.
Yeah, and I agree with that. That's actually how I test out and consume music as well. So one thing that you all don't know, whenever I make those mixes, there's actually 7 different versions of them.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's the inside scoop right here.
So I actually do something that's like a scenario or a simulation of how these things would sound ahead of time. So I know how to like piece each of them together. So the reason why it might sound like a story is because I would do like a trial and error to see which two songs work together and which ones don't.
And it works. I mean, in the end, you find something that is actually good in the sense that it tells that story. Yeah.
Definitely.
Nice. This is
one thing I need to tell you. So, like, one of my friends. So, one time he was like to me, "Why do you always listen to Jel's mixes? Why don't you listen to mine?" And I'm like, well, first of all, try releasing soca mixes regularly, not just once or twice a year. Come on. Number 2, I just love Jel's mixes. Like, literally. So then I felt like, because every time I was around him and I wanted to play music, I would put on one of your mixes. Then it felt like, I can't really play Jel mixes in front of him. Like, I want to save his feelings. So I literally stopped listening to your mixes around him. Because I felt bad. But I'm like, you need to listen to them to find out the new music, man. You have to. So
and the fact that you put in a track list at every mix.
Listen, yes, that damn track list, I love that. Because I'm like, winding up, I like this song, what is it? And then I get to find out and I'm like, yes.
Because Shazam is not for the soca scene. It was
not
for the soca scene.
Shazam is useless.
No, unless your song is like truly registered, it barely works. And that's kind of, I mean, me as well, right? I am a true soca fan. I'm also a soca listener. I listen to radio. I listen to different mixes too. So I know the frustration you all have when you love a song so much and you can't figure out the name.
Exactly.
So for me, like, I actually invested my time and energy last year into building a proper site where you guys can see that.
Yes.
You can plug it. There's no problem.
Yeah, so definitely if you all listen to mixes, love soca music, go to jelinthemix.com. And I think even on SoundCloud and YouTube as well, you can go and listen to the mixes and see the track list somewhere there in the description.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
But
yeah.
we'll put all that link
Yeah.
on our website when we post, literally. Because, yeah, we feel it's important that people listen to your mixes to get to know the new music. Because, as we discussed in our last episode, DJs aren't playing the new music, but we're not going to get into that because we'll be here forever. So,
Definitely. I know. I mean, I caught some of that too, and I could actually shed some light as a DJ as to why they don't do it.
yeah.
A lot of it, and I think you spoke on this too in the last episode, like they are afraid to play it because they won't get the reaction from the crowd.
Exactly.
But then it's a double-edged sword, right? If you don't play the new music, how will they know it?
Exactly.
So,
I mean, the perfect science really is you play songs they know, songs they don't know, songs they know.
Yeah.
You get either the MC or the actual DJ to hype it up on the mic
there we go.
and introduce it to the crowd.
Literally.
And actually, that's
Like-
actually one of the skills that you need to have as a DJ as well, especially if you're live, I guess. And that's something I'm missing a lot. And Charles, you know how to do it anyway. But like hyping up a song. So I've listened to like mixes, live recordings, teamsoca.com, whatever. But if a DJ like pulls up a new tune every, I don't know, 5 seconds, but with the right energy of hyping it up, it just builds up for me. Like, oh, come on, play it. I get so excited about a song, and then the next day when I listen, the song just as it is, I'm like,
Yeah, I get
it was
that.
nice then, like it's just so weird, but it's a skill. Yeah,
It's definitely a skill, and I think that you have to like what you do too, right? Many times there are DJs out there that don't like soca on a whole. As you said, there are people who don't like soca. They might have to play it, but they don't love it or they don't have the passion for it. So, and I can give you an example actually. Like this year alone, leading into Miami Carnival in New York City and in Miami itself, I got a lot of fight down for GBM Neutron's song Down Day.
Yep.
Oh, on the Uncle Joe rhythm.
On the Uncle Joe rhythm, exactly.
Yeah.
So because it has that like Haitian, compa, soca fusion.
Exactly.
A lot of DJs are like, well, what are you playing this for? Nobody knows this song. And I'm like, but this is the point. We are going into Miami Carnival, the first carnival in over 2 years, and there's music out. They're not going to want to, not to say that the other songs from previous years aren't good. We could play them, but how do we expect our genre to grow if hip-hop, Afrobeats, dancehall, reggaeton, all releasing music right through and their hits can be played throughout the year.
Exactly.
So I kid you not, almost every single event, the first song I started off with was that. And
I know what happened because it blew up.
and it blew up.
Yeah.
So all who was doubting me and saying, well, it's not going to work, look where the song is now.
Exactly.
It's a perfect example, and that's why I don't think we should be afraid to play new music. I mean, it does take some feeling, I guess, for it, like what song will work. And you're definitely right. Down Day is definitely one of those songs that will work. I mean, I have the same thing with like Crocodile. Like to me, Crocodile is just.
Could we not even get started on that song? I'm gonna go mental. I absolutely love that
like
song.
Unknown, like if you know what I mean. But
yes,
if
and
you
it's a
play it
monster.
anywhere,
and it's
I would be
crazy
there.
how we all live in different parts of the world, and we can say that consistently across the board.
Yeah.
Literally, every time I hear that song, I go nuts. Even when I'm playing it myself, I'm behind the desk going, "The place get wild, pull up, pull up that
It's
tune."
just-
Literally,
I even get goosebumps right now, just hearing you sing it, whatever.
Same.
voice you're using.
that
Yeah,
tune
it's-
is crazy. Oh man,
I just can't wait until Carnival hits and we can actually dance to that. But we'll get there eventually.
I hope so.
Definitely.
I really hope so. But obviously, St. Lucia are looking to do their carnival, so fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, we still have a couple more variants to see what will happen, but
Yeah,
seems like every time we
Literally.
make progress, there's always a new variant
Literally.
on the
just
horizon.
comes along and is like, nope, no soca for you this year. Literally. Oh,
Yeah.
but we'll see
will
what
get
happens
better.
anyway, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah.
I think we covered the main. Do you have? Okay, so hold on. Let me just summarize, right? Because I think one thing that you also how do you say that that you stand for is stream. Always stream the music. Don't go rip the CDs. Just get yourself on Spotify free edition or whatever, and just stream the song you like. Right? That's step one of support, perhaps. What are other things that the listeners could do?
Definitely like, comment, share whenever artists. If you know you have a favorite artist. If you can't, for some reason, find a free Apple Music subscription, the best free way to support someone is just sharing their stuff.
Yeah.
Going to their shows when they host concerts, like all these things matter.
Yeah.
If they have an album, buy the album. If you so can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, even watching their music videos as well. And thankfully now in this day and age, there are artists who have their songs registered. And once you watch their music video once or twice, that counts as a stream. And you literally have to do nothing but just watch it.
And enjoy it. Exactly.
Because Justin Bieber, I think 2 years ago, he got in trouble for having his fans, I think, stream, was it Sorry? Or it was one of the songs they came out with that was, I think, Song of the Summer that year. Yeah. And ultimately, his fans like just had the song on repeat. So they would stream it on their phone, press down their phone, go to bed. And then the following morning, like, Justin Bieber has over 5 million streams.
No way.
That's easy money.
And I mean, these are the things that you have to do. Yep, cultivating your fans, like
if it works, it works.
It works. Exactly.
Yeah. So maybe we just need to organize like a streaming day or something, National Streaming Day for Soca, or however you can put it in a nice sentence.
National Streaming Day.
That works.
The National Streaming.
I mean that
2
would
years.
be amazing.
We'll get. I honestly. I feel like we will get there because it cannot go unnoticed. It's so, and this is me obviously talking. I'm biased, but I can't see it being hidden for the next 10 years or something. It has to at some point. I feel like it's a well guarded secret, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it can't be forever, right? Yeah.
I mean, I personally think it can get somewhere. I am a little fearful of two things. I think one, with the commercialization of any music, we always see that it gets diluted over time, right?
Of course, yeah.
To your point, with the volume of releases, like, do we actually throw out releases after a year or so? Because we see that it happening a lot in hip hop, right? There are not that many classics as before. But, good music always stands the test of time. And then my other concern comes down to the future generation, right? Like, although I'm young before you all today, like I always think about, okay, who am I passing all this knowledge down to as a DJ? Like, I know a lot about soca, a lot about the different islands, a lot about the artists themselves. And I keep thinking to myself almost every night, like, who is going to come after me?
Yeah.
First of all, is the young generation even interested in soca? Because unfortunately, the older generation and the generation as they are now has done such a, I guess I'll speak freely, such a bad job of actually mentoring and passing down this information. Like, they've kind of kept the power to themselves and they want to be on top, but there's not that knowledge transfer or that actual training of the next generation. And we've kind of lost artists to other genres like dancehall in the Caribbean. Because there's a reason why Trinidad dancehall and Bajan dancehall is emerging, because they don't see themselves in soca music right now.
Exactly.
This is true.
There's no place for them because
I think you touched on it like in the first couple of questions, because there's a certain image that you put next to dancehall or similar. Maybe soca is just not tough enough, if that's the word, if you know what I mean.
But it doesn't need to be, right? Because if we look at pop music, for example, and EDM, I don't know about any toughness there. All of that is happy music, but it works.
This is true.
Like, I think dancehall has a lot of similarities with hip hop and like gangster rap, for example. So those are the two parallels that we draw there. But pop and EDM, and to an extent Afrobeats would have more parallels with soca.
This is Soca Chronicles.
I am wondering, because we just did a Perong section. What is your favorite Perong song at this moment?
I mean, I have a favorite Parang song of all time, and then I have a favorite Parang of 2021.
Okay.
So for all time, for me, it would be the Parang Now Start by Scrunta. For me, Christmas doesn't start unless I hear that song.
Nice.
Because it just signals the start of the Christmas season in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Okay.
So not Mariah Carey, but
I actually love that song too. Like I think is the start of like the other Christmas season.
Yeah.
The commercial Christmas season, but for in the Caribbean, definitely that. And for 2021, I like a song called Eat Out Everything by Rome.
Yes, that's pretty good.
Okay.
I had to laugh the first time I heard that.
Yeah.
I was listening like, excuse me?
And I mean, at the
amazing.
time of this recording, the music video actually came out. So you can go and check that out too.
Nice.
The Parang rhythm. So I actually watched the video and it's just as hilarious as the song.
I need to do that right after this.
Yeah, same.
So you know a lot about soca, like an awful lot. You're like the old sage at the top of the mountain that you have to climb for wisdom, I feel. But so how did you get into it? Like, what did you ever have a moment where you just like hip hop and you never heard about soca? Did you grew up with soca? Like, what was the moment where you were like, okay, this is gonna be the thing I'm gonna do for my foreseeable future?
I mean, for me growing up, I would say I was exposed to all genres of music, especially like R&B in the early 2000s. But I think what had changed it for me, my mom was always involved in event planning. So she used to throw a lot of big parties and big fetes. And I would always, young Jel would be there, hanging out. While they set up, I would just be playing around in whatever the venue space was at the time. One place where I always used to end up was by the DJ booth where the DJ was setting up.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was there. I was always fascinated by how people mixed and did different things. And from there, I mean, I said, you know what? Let me try this DJing thing. And then from there, I mean, the rest is history.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Honestly.
cool. So I mean, it touches back on what you say about who's gonna teach the next generation in a sense. The last thing I want to say about that actually is that because I know you are active on that field as well. I know you have TikTok and you're actually like.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm informed.
You know what? You know about TikTok.
He's the FBI. RKO is the FBI. Nothing gets past him.
No, but I think that's already a great way to, at least, for interested people, they will, they are on that sort of, they're on TikTok, the younger generation. I'm not. I'm too old for that, I feel. But
not at all. There are 40 and 50-year-olds on TikTok that have like 4 or 5 million followers. So no,
wow.
I don't think anyone is too old for TikTok. Once you get over the learning curve, it's so much fun.
Right.
I have to
get
say.
back into that then. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you are there. You are talking about soca. You're teaching people, anybody who's interested. So again, you are on the forefront of trying to educate at least. So, much respect for that, honestly. Thanks so much, Jel, for joining. I have enjoyed immensely.
Same.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing your wisdom. Anything from your end that you want to share before we call it a day?
Oh, plug all your socials.
Yes.
We need those.
I was gonna say, yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show. Assuming this is published like in December. Merry Christmas and season's greetings to everyone locked in. I pray that you all have a safe holiday season as well as a happy new year. May 2022 be the year that we all want and cherish.
Yes.
And definitely, if you want to find me or find my mixes, you can follow me at Jel in the Mix on about everything: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud. You could also visit jelinthemix.com. That's JELINTHEMIX.com.
Nice.
That's
Thank
it.
you
Make
very
sure
much.
you try it. Yeah, go there. There's a track list for every mix that's there. So if you are listening and you see a song that you like, Easy.
Endless soca mixes, and if you are a gym junkie, definitely check out the Soca Gym series.
Yes.
That's a crowd favorite right there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You've been listening to the Soca Chronicles.